Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, Certificate Programs, Certificate in Apparel Merchandising, CAPMER, BHC-05 Basics of Apparel Industry and Entrepreneurship, Block 5, Unit-23, New Enterprise Creation and Management. 23.0 Objectives. After you have learnt about business plan preparation and analysis in the previous unit, let us now learn about creation of an enterprise, its positioning in the market and the various challenges faced for its growth. After going through this unit, you shall be able to understand the meaning of a new enterprise, discuss the various steps that are followed in creating a new business enterprise, realize the challenges that need to be addressed during the startup phase, describe the areas of concern and their management, describe the entrepreneurial strategies for creation and development of an enterprise, understand the role of marketing and finance in new enterprise creation and its growth, understand the importance of succession planning for a business, comprehend the significance of future planning of a business, and understand various forms of business organization in India. 23.1 Introduction. In the previous units, we have seen that the journey of entrepreneurship begins with identifying and recognizing the entrepreneurial traits within and honing those skills. After that, we need to identify, screen and select the business opportunity. The third thing is to prepare a business plan for self-use and present it to the stakeholders. Once these tasks are done and the investors are convinced with the business idea/proposal, we create an enterprise, starting our business operations. It is very important to remember that the real challenge begins now. Creating an enterprise is not as difficult as running, managing and promoting the business enterprise is. Researchers have shown that many business ventures die at the beginning phase only. Therefore, the initial years of business are very important. In this unit, we will discuss the steps that are followed in creating a new enterprise and how to manage it effectively so that it can be profitable and growth-seeking business venture. 23.2 New Enterprise Creation. Setting up an enterprise is no less than any of life-changing events. It is both stressful and exciting. As discussed above, the journey of a business organization, termed as new enterprise in the discussion, begins well ahead of the business organization coming into existence. There are certain steps which are as follows. 1. Realizing the entrepreneurial potential. 2. Business opportunity identification and selection. 3. Examining and assembling the resources. 4. Forming an enterprise. 5. Implementing the entrepreneurial strategy. 6. Planning the future. The first three steps we have already discussed in Unit 20, 21 and 22 of this block. Let us start our discussion from the fourth step, that is forming an enterprise. In the business plan, you have identified the product that has reasonable prospects of success and have analyzed all the requisites to launch a business. Now the next stage is to actually launching the product into market. For this, you need to have a proper system which is called business organization or business enterprise. To create a new enterprise, you need to understand properly what a business enterprise is and what its requirements are. What is a business enterprise? Business enterprise is an organization which is involved in trading of goods and or services to the customers. Customers may be ultimate consumers, also termed as end users, or the organizational consumers. The term enterprise includes two broad efforts, i.e., taking initiative and taking risk. Taking initiative involves all the efforts an entrepreneur takes in business opportunity identification, screening and selection, and preparing and presenting the business plan. Taking risk here denotes risk of making investments and running the business. It is needless to mention here that risk is pervasive in business. Running a business highly relies on anticipation, which has the probability of going wrong. There are various risks associated with the business. On the basis of controllability, these risks can be divided into two broad categories. Figure 23.1. Figure 23.1 Business Risk. Look at the screen for table content. The entrepreneurial talent is to recognize and analyze these risks and take calculated risk rather than jumping blindly. This calculation makes the business different from gambling. Requirements of a new enterprise. The requirement of a new business enterprise can be listed as below. Taking initiative, opportunity identification and selection, analyzing the feasibility and profitability of the business proposal. Developing it into an enterprise by giving a form to it. Arranging the resources, both human and non-human resources or financial resources. Or technical know-how. Or premises. Or equipment and machineries. Effectively promoting the business enterprise. Managing its operations and growth. It is important to discuss here that there are incubation services available to support a new business. There are various incubation centers which provide accommodation, business support, business counseling and expert advice, and sometimes seed funding as well. Forms of business enterprise. When you start any kind of business, you need to bring together various resources, both active resources and passive resources such as land, labor, capital, machineries, technologies, etc. You need to make these resources work effectively. Let us understand it through an example. Suppose you have to start a spinning mill. You have to acquire land, employ labor, buy cotton, and process the cotton to produce yarn, which will eventually be sold to make profits. Therefore, to produce yarn, you necessarily have to assemble resources discussed above and make them work in a systematic manner and coordinate and control these functions effectively. Only then you can start your business operations and earn profit. This whole arrangement is termed as business organization. Businesses may be run by an individual as well as by a group of people. Similarly, businesses organizations may be owned and managed by a single individual or group of people. Depending upon its ownership and control, business organizations in India may take any of the following forms. 1. Sole proprietorship. 2. Partnership firm. 3. Joint Hindu family. 4. Cooperative society. 5. Joint stock company. Let us take a look at the features and characteristics of these forms of business. Organizations briefly. Features of various forms of business organizations. Look at the screen for table content. Implementing the entrepreneurial strategy. As discussed above, an entrepreneur brings together all the resources to start up a new business organization. Now you, as an entrepreneur, have to give a thoughtful consideration as to how to manage these resources to achieve the main objectives of the business. You have to formulate proper strategies for that, which is also termed as entrepreneurial strategy. Entrepreneurial strategy consists of focusing on various aspects that can be broadly categorized into 3 categories listed below. Strategies related to operations, operation strategy, marketing strategies, financial strategy, operation strategy. This is related to the business operations, gathering of resources and using it optimally, which enables the organization to deliver the product or service to the target customers. You need to strategize effectively so that you can build the required competencies to not only compete in the market but also to gain competitive edge. The main focus here should be on gathering the right kind of resources which can be put to use for the organization. All businesses have to ensure proper management of the operations and ensure that resources are not going waste and everything happens adequately. You should not forget that you are not operating in isolation. You are operating in an environment, often termed as suprasystem. You belong to some industry. For example, if you are setting up a spinning mill, you belong to the textile industry. To be effective, you need to develop strong network with the industry and the other stakeholders. Marketing strategy. Nothing is as important in the business world as the customers. They are the king and pivotal to all the activities of a business organization. You have to build a strong, successful relation with your customers and should focus on marketing accordingly. Marketing should be done in a way that you create a positive image in the minds of people of your organization and its products and services. Your aim is not only to satisfy the customers but also to delight them so that they feel like getting associated with you forever. Finance strategy. To do anything you need to have finance, hence it is very important to manage your finance effectively. You should not be fully dependent on your accountant and managers. You should take enough time out to see it yourself. At least during the startup phase, you should give enough time to see the financial operations of your business yourself. You have to be concerned for both liquidity and profitability. Liquidity means keeping enough cash in your business to meet day-to-day liabilities, whereas profitability means maximizing profits of the business. It is important to note here that there is an inverse relationship between liquidity and profitability. If liquidity is high, profitability is low, and vice versa. Keeping high liquidity means keeping more cash in business which is kept idle. Money cannot beget money unless it's invested somewhere. There has to be adequacy in maintaining liquidity in your business, which is quite a tricky task. It is often suggested that when you are budgeting for your business, you should be a little liberal in mentioning your expenses in the business and conservative for the business income. This means you should show your expenses slightly higher than the anticipation, whereas in case of income, you should show your income slightly lower than the anticipation. Planning the future. When you are in business, future planning becomes even more important. Business should have continuity. Even entrepreneurs feel that starting a business venture is not as challenging as managing it successfully. Once your enterprise, business organization, is created and you start your business operations, there are many issues that you will have to face while your business is growing up. It is already discussed that chances of failure are more in case of newly established small business venture in comparison to already established large business venture which has grown. The first 5 years of business are very crucial. Hence, you need to be highly planned and careful. As an entrepreneur, you need to be very clear where do you want to see your business in the coming, say 10 years. For the business growth, you necessarily have to keep on assessing the current performance. Set a vision for your business growth. Prepare a business plan for growth, often termed as perspective planning. Constantly plan the ways and means to grow. Be innovative for growth. Create effective marketing strategy. Plan for obtaining required finance for growth. Effectively manage your growth. Do succession planning well in time. Plan for recruitment and development of human resources. We will discuss this aspect in detail in the coming section 23.4. Check your progress. 1. What are the different kinds of business risk? 2. List out the features of sole proprietorship firms in India. 3. Who is Karta in joint Hindu family business? 4. Why is finance strategy important? 23.3. Market selection and positioning. As discussed again and again, there can be no business without a market. When we say market, we need to understand what markets are. Once you understand the concept of market, then you have to learn how to select market for your products and or services and position yourself effectively so that your business can not only survive in the market, but also tastes growth. Now let us understand what a market is. The word market here means not necessarily a geographical place where buying and selling is done. It is much beyond that. Market is a group of people, as individuals or organization, who have an intense desire for products, in a product category, purchasing power for the product and willingness to buy the product offered by the business. This means as an entrepreneur, you need to identify the set of people who have the desire to buy your product backed by ability to pay and willingness to pay for it. It is needless to mention here that the market may be very large. You may not be able to cater to the entire market. Hence you need to divide the whole market into various segments. This is known as segmentation of market, and decide which segment to cater. This decided market segment may be termed as target market. You have already read about market segmentation, targeting and positioning in Unit 8, Block 3, Course 1. To do all this, you need to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of your organization and of course do a cost-benefit analysis, i.e. assess the profitability of the business. Now let us revise the process of target market selection briefly. Market selection process involves the following steps. Step 1. Market segmentation. Identify basis for segmentation. Develop segment profile. Evaluate relevant market segments. Step 2. Market targeting. Develop measures of segment attractiveness. Select specific target, segments, market. Step 3. Market positioning. Develop positioning for target markets. Develop a marketing mix, product, price, promotion, place. For each segment, the very first step is to segment the whole market into various segments. There are various bases on which the market can be segmented, such as on the basis of location, age, gender, purchasing power, lifestyle, etc. You need to identify on which basis you want to segment your market. For example, if you are dealing with designer apparel, you may want to target the customers who have the taste for it and also the money to pay for it. In this case, you may segment your market on the basis of income of people. Once you segment the market on the basis of your desired variable, you need to describe the similarities among the potential customers within a segment so that you can shape your products and services accordingly to serve your customers in a better manner. For appropriate sales estimates, you need to have adequate information of your competitors, such as the number of competitors, their strengths and weaknesses, market share, etc. The market segments that are relevant for your organization should be evaluated properly. Evaluation includes evaluation of sales estimates, cost estimates, and competitors. You need to measure the potential sales for your target segments, your organization's own sales potential. Likewise, cost estimates for the segments should also be evaluated. You should avoid choosing such segments for which you need to incur heavy cost if you are a newly established organization. The next step is to select the specific target markets which you want to cater to. Before selection, it is important to consider the resources of the organization, both human and non-human resources, to enter into the market and face the competitors effectively in selected market segments. Once the specific target market is selected, then the next step is to position and reposition your product in the market so that you can grow as an organization. Positioning means creating a positive image of your product and/or your organization in the minds of the customers. In positioning, we try to influence the perception of the customers about the product and/or organization. This is done through advertising, sales promotion, customer loyalty program, etc. However, the important thing is to keep your products positioned time and again. Repositioning also becomes very important. It may be done by making modifications in the product, price, promotion, distribution, etc. 23.4 Growth of an enterprise and associated challenges. As it is obvious that an entrepreneur seeks growth of an organization or enterprise, hence growth strategies are prepared to ensure growth of an organization. It requires huge commitment to create an enterprise and see it growing. Various growth strategies will be discussed in section 19.5. It is important to remember here that growth does not come free of cost. There are several challenges associated with it. The ultimate objective of an enterprise is to maximize profit. This requires two major considerations, i.e., maximizing revenue, income of the business, enterprise or organization, and minimizing cost. Revenue maximization can happen in two ways: by increased sales or by increased profit margins. If you increase profit margin, your price of the product may go up, which means you may lose to your competitors, because if your prices are up, many customers would switch to your competitors. Therefore, profit margins cannot be raised easily. On the other hand, to increase sales, it takes lot of efforts and consideration. Increased sales entails either lowering of the prices, not always, or increasing your customer base. For this, You might have to look for another market segments. This requires cost to be incurred, which means higher costs. It requires further financing. Likewise, in the effort of minimizing cost, we need to be highly careful that there is no compromise on the quality of the product. It can destroy your image in the market. Successful enterprise growth requires sizable investments in skills, processes, organization, technical know-how, innovations. External environment provides opportunities to an enterprise to grow, but for this growth the enterprises have to make significant changes. An organization which fails to make proper investments in all these fronts may fail to grow. Several hurdles are there in the growth of an organization or an enterprise. They are as follows. Ineffective management of innovation. Ineffective management of human resources. Insufficient investments in skills and technology, both hard and soft skills. Ineffective business process. Lack of adaptability. Lack of sensitivity to external environment. Inadequate competitor strategy. Enterprises that succeed face these challenges and are able to look for effective solutions. They flourish as they change themselves with the passage of time. Unfortunately, most enterprises fail to grow. 23.5 Strategies for growth. Strategy itself is a term which is not at all a fixed formula. Strategies are different for different organizations, at different times and at different internal and external environment of a business. However, there are certain basic and common principles around which almost all the strategies are framed. There may be number of strategies through which an entrepreneur can bring growth for his/her business. Which one you choose as an entrepreneur depends upon various factors such as the nature of business, the target customers, location of business, available resources both human and non-human, etc. However, one thing is common, and that is an in-depth analysis and thoughtful consideration to various factors. The most common strategies used by the entrepreneurs are as listed below. 1. Increasing sales to existing customers. 2. Look for other market segments, different sets of customers, etc. 3. Going global. 4. Diversification of products and services. 5. Joining hands with other business enterprises, collaboration. 6. Get your hands on other enterprises. 7. Strategic alliances. 8. Franchise. Give business franchises to others. It is important for an entrepreneur not to deviate his focus from the core business. You must be very careful while choosing a growth strategy for your organization. It should be properly researched, analyzed and debated with a team of experts and consultants available. Before planning for growth, it is important to understand the present status of business. We must analyze properly whether the business is in the phase of sustainability or growth. We cannot jump into conclusions blindly. If the business is in the phase of sustainability, the focus should be on making it more and more sustainable. For the growth of an enterprise, few changes are to be made. These changes are the real and serious changes. It may require change in the entire business model. There are several factors that should be checked during strategizing for enterprise growth. Let us see those factors. Required action plan for growth. Role of business leaders and managers. Area of growth such as products, services or market. Symptoms of growth status. We must prepare and analyze what should be really done to achieve growth of the enterprise. We need to prepare an action plan. To prepare this action plan, the environment in which the enterprise is working should be examined and analyzed thoroughly. This analysis is popularly known as SWOT analysis. That is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strength and weaknesses are related to the enterprise or the organization itself, whereas opportunities and threats are posed by the external environment. We should try to grab the opportunity provided by the external environment by making optimum use of the strength of the enterprise and matching its weaknesses, and should be careful of all the threats and challenges. The achievement of enterprise growth can be measured by certain symptoms or signs of growth. These symptoms are listed below. Greater cost efficiencies. Improvement in market perception or image about the enterprise and its product and/or services. Launching new products or services in the market. Upgradation in skills and technologies. It is significant to note here that the scope of growth is very large. It is not limited to its business operations only. It can be growth in business functions, overall organization of business, market share, shareholders' wealth or to the enterprise as a whole. To emphasize it more and more, it should be understood that successful enterprise growth entails significant investments in skill, processes, organization and technology. Check your progress. 2. 1. List out the various steps in market selection process. 2. List out various challenges or hurdles associated with enterprise growth. 3. Outline the common strategies used for enterprise growth. 4. Point out the symptoms of growth achievement. 23.6. Let us sum up. Creating an enterprise is not as difficult as running, managing and promoting the business enterprise is. Many business ventures die at the beginning phase only. Therefore, the initial years of business are very important. In this unit we have discussed the steps that are followed in creating a new enterprise and how to manage it effectively so that it can be profitable and growth-seeking business venture. Setting up an enterprise is no less than any of life-changing events. It is both stressful and exciting. As discussed above, the journey of a business organization, termed as new enterprise in the discussion, begins well ahead of the business organization coming into existence, such as realizing the entrepreneurial potential, business opportunity identification and selection, examining and assembling the resources, forming an enterprise, implementing the entrepreneurial strategy, planning the future. Business enterprise is an organization which is involved in trading of goods and/or services to the customers. Customers may be ultimate consumers, also termed as end users or the organizational consumers. The term enterprise includes two broad efforts, i.e., taking initiative and taking risk. Taking initiative involves all the efforts an entrepreneur takes in business opportunity identification, screening and selection and preparing and presenting the business plan. Taking risk here denotes risk of making investments and running the business. There are various risks associated with the business. On the basis of controllability, these risks can be divided into two broad categories, i.e., controllable risk and non-controllable risk. Depending upon its ownership and control, a business organization in India may take any of the various forms, whether sole proprietorship, partnership firm, joint Hindu family, cooperative society or joint stock company. There can be no business without a market. The word market here means not necessarily a geographical place where buying and selling is done. It is much beyond that. Market is a group of people, as individuals or organization, who have the intense desire for products, in a product category, purchasing power for the product and willingness to buy the product offered by the business. This means you need to identify the set of people who have the desire to buy your product backed by ability to pay and willingness to pay for it. It is needless to mention here that the market may be very large. You may not be able to cater to the entire market. Hence you need to divide the whole market into various segments. This is known as segmentation of market, and decide which segment to cater. This decided market segment may be termed as target market. Successful enterprise growth requires sizable investments in skills, processes, organization, technical know-how, innovations. External environment provides opportunities to an enterprise to grow, but for this growth the enterprises have to make significant changes. Organizations which fail to make proper investments in all these fronts may fail to grow. Several hurdles are there in the growth of an organization or an enterprise. They are ineffective management of innovation, ineffective management of human resources, insufficient investments in skills and technology, both hard and soft skills, ineffective business process, lack of adaptability, lack of sensitivity to external environment, inadequate competitors' strategy. The scope of growth is very large. It is not limited to its business operations only. It can be growth in business functions, overall organization of business, market share, shareholders' wealth, or to the enterprise as a whole. Successful enterprise growth entails significant investments in skill, processes, organization and technology. 23.7 Keywords. SWOT analysis, an analysis of strengths and weaknesses of the internal environment of the organization and the opportunities and threats provided by the external environment. Enterprise. It is an organization which is involved in trading of goods and/or services to customers. Growth symptoms, the signs which indicate that the organization is growing. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.